stop or give it up. Killing infidels, always got it planned. Underhand, give Allah a yell. My, I, whoa! My Sharia. My Sharia. My Sharia.
All right, welcome to Jumping Jum'ah Freaky Friday. I'm the only one here today. They played games with me yesterday. They had me, I can't tell you what they did to me, but I was not where I am now. So I'm doing the show by myself. I'm running the cameras by myself. They're not here, and I'm not telling you where any of those people are. But it is Jumpin' Jum'ah Freaky Friday. We do need that. Go ahead, you can do it. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. The crew is here. I wasn't yesterday. That old football injury got to me. Oops.
You were in the
I can
penalty
take
box.
this thing off. I don't need this thing while we're on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I have a
Take
bad
that off,
pinky.
Tom.
I have a bad pinky. I have a bad pinky, and I couldn't do the show yesterday. My pinky hurt.
You didn't have your compact either.
No, I don't need the compact. I'm fine. Hi, everybody. Tom Trento here. 2 minutes after 5 o'clock on Jumpin' Jum'ah Freaky Friday, 23 August 2013. A shout out to Tea Party community, Tim Saletti, all the folks over there. You're watching, you Tea Party people, you're watching our show on teapartycommunity.com. We want you right now, at the top of the show, send a little email while you're sitting back, having a Budweiser or a glass of water or whatever, a cup of tea. Send a little email to a friend and an enemy, okay? Send it to them and say, you gotta watch this show. Send them the link, either theunitedwest.org or TrentoVision.tv. Say, click on this thing and watch this show right now. That's how we're getting all kinds of people joining the show. You are our marketing force. And we like your price in marketing the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's very inexpensive.
Yes, word of mouth. That's how the show gets out. Man, do we have anything going on today in the world of jihad and Jumpin' Jum'ah?
Jihad. Yes, we do.
We have.
Damon, do you want to read the breaking news?
Well, yeah, let's, let me see. What are we doing? Let's do a little of this housekeeping stuff first.
No, we got big news.
Oh, we
Let's
got big
talk
news?
about
Okay,
it.
top of the hour, big news. Damon.
Our friend from Texas has been found guilty on all charges.
And who might that be? Do you have a
Who might
picture
that be?
for our driving?
That would be the piece of garbage known as Nidal Hassan, formerly a United States Army major.
Do we have his picture for those folks who are actually watching the show? Do we have his picture? Not that anybody doesn't know what he looks like. This is the guy, November 2009, walks into the deployment room up at Fort Hood in Texas, goes into his jihad, right?
It is his jihad.
Goes into his personal jihad and starts firing, kills 13 plus an unborn baby, injures another 30, seriously injures many of them. And, Major Nadal Hassan, SOA, what was that, SOA?
Soldier of Allah.
Soldier of Allah.
Yeah.
Does his dirty deed, and our tough, clear-thinking, black and white Obama administration says, oh my God, that guy just violated an OSHA law, the workplace laws that the federal agencies put together. There he is, Nidal Hassan, Sharia-compliant beard in his Gitmo orange. Our administration says no jihad, no Muslim, no nothing. He violated federal workplace laws. And what did they classify this as?
Workplace violence.
Workplace violence.
Give me a break.
You want workplace violence? I'll
right
show
now.
you workplace violence.
If I knock her in the head with this, that's workplace violence. If I get up as a Muslim and start blowing people away in the name of Allah, I don't know. Maybe that changes a little bit.
Yeah.
Could be something a little more,
Yeah.
The guy, though, is guilty, 13 charges. He wants to die. We want to know, what do you think should happen to Nidal Hassan? Yes.
I'll buy. I'll spend the 57.
I'll take
cents.
Nidal Hassan for 200, Alex.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll take the 50. I'll spend 57 cents for the cartridge.
So you would send him to his virgins.
Well, actually, you do have a couple of choices in the military, unlike the
Unlike us
us
civilians.
civilians. You do have the choice of death by hanging, death by bullet, or death by needle. The operative word there being, yes, he needs to go see Allah and his 72 virgins as quickly as possible without any, what's going to happen, this thing's going to drag out and on and on and on through appeals and everything else like that. That's going to be.
He will get a bunch of appeals, I bet you.
Yes,
Sure, yeah.
that's going to be the big thing.
Well, what are the rules in the military for appeals?
Well, it's a lot less stringent than they are. I mean, there's a less and less of an appeal process. Let me just put it to you that
So
way.
you can expedite it more quickly.
Right.
How about if in an effort, in a Democrat effort, in an administration effort to kind of bring peace to all of this, that the same room where the murders occurred, we reassemble the same soldiers, all who want to be there, the 30 that were shot that may want to be there, and we let for 2 hours Nadal Hassan go in, and they can have sort of a intervention, and all try to come out friendly and interfaith, and then whatever happens, and that's the end of that. How about that?
What?
If we let him go in,
What kind of nonsense
the
are
other
you
30
talking about?
soldiers, and they can have an intervention, and they can resolve the differences with Nadal Hassan as they see fit.
I agree. My other thing would have been to put him in a big cement pit like an animal at a zoo and let people do to him as they wish.
Well, here at 8 minutes after on WNN, if you're driving in your car, we're talking about Major Nadal Hassan found guilty today on JUMPIN JUM'AH Freaky Friday. Just a very kind of a symbolic day to be found guilty on.
Right.
But the serious point is he wants to die because he will then become a martyr. He will have streets named after him worldwide. So what could be done by the United States? Think this through, audience. Send us a note, Tom at TrentoVision.tv, Facebook page, United West, info at United West. Give us your thoughts. What do you think should happen to Nadal Hassan? We don't want to make a martyr out of him, but and our system of justice is not vengeful, it's justice. But we're dealing with a barbarian enemy that only understands brute force. So what can be done with Nadal Hassan right now? Oh, wait, something's
Well, a
coming
couple
across
of other
my computer.
questions, too.
Something just came across, but
Besides
that
what can be
analysis.
done with Nadal Hassan, how about what could be done with his superiors who gave him a pass for several years?
I like that.
Yeah.
And when they knew, because he was publicly out there for jihad, they knew that he hated the United States. They knew that he was a soldier for Allah. That he told everybody what he was planning to do. And because of political correctness and diversity sensitivity in the military,
You don't have my computer.
they
do you?
decided, we better keep our mouths shut. And the people who worked with him decided we better keep our mouths shut because if we out this guy, then we won't get our promotions.
Can you-
How about those people
like
being
that.
culpable?
And-
How about the Obama administration classifying this as an act of terrorism, which it is, so those who were killed, their families can receive what they're supposed to receive, and those who were injured will
filing
receive
I like that.
what they're supposed to receive as
The fam-
wounded.
As evidence.
The families are filing lawsuits against the government for.
Oh, they are?
Yes,
They shouldn't
are.
have to file lawsuits against the government that's supposed to protect them through their military.
Well, yes, you keep living in your make-believe United States Obama administration world. Do you have the PowerPoint to underscore CJ's point about the culpability of the superiors of Major Nadal Hassan. I just want to show the first page because if you can pull that up, Damon.
I got it.
While we're getting that, all right, right there. This is Major Nadal M. What do you think the M stands for? Muhammad. PowerPoint presentation to senior Army doctors in June of 2007. Remember, he did his dirty deed November 2009, 2 years post the beginning of this. For 2 years, this is a 51-page PowerPoint right here.
Right.
And just look at the title, The Quranic Worldview as it Relates to Muslims in the U.S. Military. Many of our associates on Team B2, in particular Steve Coughlin, did an analysis before Nidal Hassan shot everybody and said, we got a problem with this guy and some of this teaching. And this is online. His PowerPoint is online. You can go through his PowerPoint and see where he talks about the fact that Muslims really can't be fighting on the side of the U.S. Army. This is a major in the Army, psychologist, making a lot of money, writing that what he's doing isn't Quranic. And his superiors never saw this. In fact, they gave him all kinds of...
He even defines what an Islamist is in his
What page is
definitions.
that on?
Page 5.
Yeah, go to page 5.
Yeah, go to page 5, definitions.
Interestingly,
Islamist
well,
advocates rule by God's law. Islamic political rule / Sharia law, i.e., no separation of church and state.
Interestingly, this PowerPoint presentation that Nidal Hassan wrote, the reason Steve Coughlin was contacted about it was because he wrote a PowerPoint presentation which was very similar
Right.
to Nidal Hassan's to explain how they think. And the FBI contacted Steve Coughlin and says, Nidal Hassan is using your PowerPoint presentation. How did he get it? And Steve Coughlin says, I just, put it out there as I know how they think. And if I were to write a PowerPoint presentation, I would write it this way. And it was nearly identical to explaining the jihadist mindset.
And Steve Coughlin, for our audience that might not know him, if you go to shariathethreat.org, Sharia with an H, thethreat.org, it's the book that we have put together, 19 of us. Steve is one of the lead authors. And he was the Army's expert. He's a lawyer, and he's a major, he's out now, a major in the Army, and he was the briefing expert for the military brass on the doctrine of Islam. He essentially got pushed out of that position, believe it or not, by a Muslim superior who didn't like the fact that Steve was elucidating Islamic doctrine and showing that it is completely in opposition to military doctrine, and then we got problems here. So, big day on Jumpin' Jum'ah Freaky Friday with Major Nidal Hassan being found guilty. But I just got an email, and somebody suggested this. Let me throw it out to you guys. What do you think of this? They said, put him in jail for life. Do not kill. Do not execute.
Yeah,
Nidal.
don't.
I agree.
Yeah, don't make him
Put
a
him in jail.
martyr.
There's a caveat here. I'm looking at our viewer here.
I don't
Said there's another soldier floating around that's going to be doing quite a bit of time. And what we need to do
He needs
is
a bunkmate.
he needs a bunkmate. Nidal Hassan needs a bunkmate. We don't want to. You can cut the expenses down in half if you team him up with somebody else, which is normal in incarceration. So let's take a look at the suggested bunkmate for Nidal Hassan for the next 40 years. And there
he is.
And there.
Here's what it looks like.
Hear me right here.
Now there,
No,
Mark's
not
volunteering.
you.
How long do I have to stall for?
It didn't come up. It originally did, and then it did not.
All right, but you
Okay.
can get it because
Yes.
Yes, it's right.
otherwise my whole
Yes,
thing here is
your
falling
whole-
flat
your
and
whole
dead.
thing is falling flat.
Bench.
Okay, but here's the deal.
Okay.
I will say the name, and they'll show the picture.
Right.
Bradley Chelsea should be the bunkmate. Is that the name, Bradley Chelsea?
Should be the bunkmate.
Well, I think it's just Chelsea now.
It's just
That's Manning, Bradley Manning.
well, he
but it must
hasn't
be
gone through the
Chelsea.
actual change.
Bradley Manning, who took 750,000 pages of military sensitive information and dumped it because he was angry at the testosterone-fueled military, because he was, there he is, right there. For those of you driving in your car, 16 minutes after 5 o'clock on the 23rd of August on WNN 1470, we have a picture of Bradley Manning. On the left, we have a picture of Bradley Manning.
Well,
on the
if someone's not running on the screen, we could probably do that.
We have a picture of Bradley Manning. We have a split
Welcome
screen.
to our first show.
We have a split, yes, this is our first show. We have Bradley Manning on the left side, and then we have Bradley Manning on the right side of the screen, except that Bradley, CJ, how would you describe that Bradley to our automobile listeners?
I would say it looks like Bradley in drag.
Bradley in drag with a blonde hair and some lipstick.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more than
Platinum blonde.
that. It's a little bit more than that.
It's
He's,
more?
yeah, he actually, it has a desire to go through the whole.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
waiting.
I think this whole thing is a fake out. I don't think he's really gay. I don't think he's really transgendered or identity confused or anything like that. I think he knew that he was going to be found guilty. He knew he was going to be going to prison for a long time, and he thought, hey, I'd rather bunk with the girls. So now he gets to have this sex change
that could be.
operation, and then they have to house him with the women.
And who pays for that sex change operation?
Well, anybody stupid enough to still be working and paying their taxes, Tom.
Okay, but I think, can you see in a day or two President Obama holding a press conference? Can you see him saying, if I had
Well, he
a
already had a
son-"
press conference this year, so I think
Oh,
he's
that's right.
done.
Okay, but a special one. I could see the president saying, if I had a son who was actually a
He would look
woman
just like
who was trapped in a
Chelsea.
man's body and who went to serve our country, he would look exactly like Bradley Chelsea. I could see the president saying,
And why
"That's
do you
what
think
my
Bradley
son-daughter
chose the name
would look
Chelsea?
like."
Do you think it's an homage to the Clintons?
Absolutely.
It could be.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Hey, Tom, I think you weren't far off on your whoever recommended that to you.
Why?
What? The
And I think as good Americans, we should bunk Chelsea and Nidal Hassan together for the rest of their lives and see if Nidal, this could be like a reality show. Will Nidal, there we go, right there. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we can blow that up. We have a picture for all of you driving of the future bunkmates, Nadal Hassan and
The
Chelsea.
Trento Times.
Yes, the Trento Times. So great. Yeah. But those two need to be together, and either one will become a jihadi or one will become a guy girl. So what a world we're living in. But I heard some lawyers already saying that Bradley Manning, who wants to be called Chelsea, he goes, I from this day forward, I will be referred to as Chelsea. Okay, that's like me saying, from this day forward, refer to me as Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
I mean, in
Well,
the
actually,
Army,
that's
no
more
less.
likely to happen.
But with the new LGBT, transgender, all of that sensitive military,
right.
and if a doctor, some lawyers were saying today, if a doctor underscores with his expertise the fact that he's gender challenged and all of that, the United States Army, meaning the taxpayers, has to treat him, which could include sex change operations
Yep.
in the military.
You take it down the logical path, it has to go that way.
Well,
And-
wait a minute. Under Obamacare, wouldn't he have to be on a waiting list or something?
Well, he's
Yeah,
got
maybe.
Obamacare. It's called the U.S. military. The U.S. military has government, has socialized medicine anyway.
Well,
And so-
look, the good thing about all of this on Jumpin' Jum'ah Freaky Friday, the good thing about all this, it's so far over there, it's so far away from Florida. It's in the military, it's in Texas, has nothing to do with Florida. We have no problems.
We have no jihadis
No
here
problems.
in
If you remember
Florida.
how we started the week, folks,
Oh, gosh.
we had a 3-part investigative series exposing whom
Whom? Ahmed Bedier,
as a elevated
Muslim
agent.
Brotherhood operative
Yeah,
in
and,
the state of Florida.
Oh, I thought you were talking closer to home.
at the Florida Imam.
Well, we started, I mean, all this jihad stuff's outside of Florida, but on Monday we were in Florida. We were in Tampa and Egypt, which seems to have a direct flight now between Tampa International and Cairo International with Ahmed Bedier. But something else on this Jumpin' Jum'ah Freaky Friday has popped up in Tampa, Florida. Now, by way of background,
Oh, good grief. This one makes me absolutely sick.
if the caliphate is implemented globally and in the United States, I think the base of the caliphate nationally will be in Chicago. We know that. That's the
Right.
That's really
Well, that's where everything started.
But you
Yes,
have to have little caliphates in states.
Right?
Florida's big, 19 million people.
Yeah.
Where do you think the Florida caliphate would be?
Tampa.
Tampa, Florida. And
No offense, Islamic Center of Boca Raton.
Or the Islamic Center of, yes. Yeah.
CJ and Mark both went to school in at Jihad U.
Yes,
Back
we
before
did.
it got all hijabbed up.
What
So-
school is that?
Well, it was pretty bad when I was there.
Well, yeah. Well, we were there. We were there at the same time, CJ. So,
What school is that?
University of South Florida,
The Bulls.
the one that's the proud sponsor of Sammy Al-Arian.
Is that your mascot, the
Yeah.
Bulls?
That's right.
Does that look like a bull?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was very good.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pink. Don't show me pink! Don't show me pink! Sammy Al-Arian, convicted terrorist, was based there teaching. Ahmed Bedier was his spokesperson. So now we're bringing the Fort Hood jihad attack, we're bringing it back to Florida in terms of, see, a jihad is a holy war. And each Muslim has a responsibility, an obligation doctrinally. That means by their faith and why they exist, Allah is their objective, they have an obligation to implement individual or personal jihad, as Nidal Hassan did, or as Robert Miller stays up at night as he's exiting the directorship of the FBI. He was asked in a recent interview, what keeps you up? He talked about several things, one of which was the number of American young men traveling to Syria to fight in the jihad. These are Sunni men against Assad, an Alawite, which is part of the Shia denomination of Islam. He said so many Americans are going over there to fight. He said some are going to come back well equipped to implement jihad in a lethal manner in the United States. This is the head of the FBI as he's exiting right now.
Right.
We've been saying this for years.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's many levels of jihad.
But you can't even profile them when they come back to the.
Oh, you can't do that.
When they come back through the airport, right? That would be discrimination.
What Nadal Hassan did was the lethal part or the kinetic part of jihad, not Connecticut, kinetic, moving, fast, physical, blowing up things. He did that. He used bullets. He used gunpowder. There's also a cultural jihad, which paves the way ideologically and culturally to desensitize American patriots to accept more and more Islamic propaganda doctrine. This is how it works, folks. That's why we're here, unveiling and exposing this.
Creeping.
Creeping Sharia, it's called. And man, oh man, do we have an illustration for you right now that is so absurd, so offensive, so ridiculous, so over the top, that it's going to happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's going. It's
It
definitely
is
gonna
going
happen.
to happen.
Yeah, I know these people down there in Tampa area, especially with the Islamic Center of Pinellas County, Ahmed Bedier. The whole city is just completely on the side of the Muslims. It is just, it's actually,
Fantastic.
Oh, Mark, wait a minute. It's 1 o'clock. Shut everything down.
No, hold on.
You
I
got to
got- I
shut
got-
it down at
fade to black.
12:30.
Shut everything down
I
at
gotta
1
fade-
o'clock.
I got to fade to black. Hold on just a minute.
Because what happens on Friday at 1 to 3?
Only the best thing on
No,
earth.
well,
Let's
what
go
it
to-
is.
Let's
Hold
learn
on,
from
what it is.
Yeah.
Abdullah. What worldwide in the Islamic Ummah, the Islamic family worldwide, what happens on Friday at 1 o'clock in local time?
Jum'ah Prayer is the most important prayer of the week.
Is- Yes.
In
Well,
fact, you feel so good when you leave that mosque.
All right, well, it's 5:26 right now. Did you go today?
I had a fantastic day at the mosque.
What do you think about Major Nidal Hassan getting
Not very
getting
happy.
pinched there?
Not
No?
very happy. He do this for Allah.
What do you think about this next story of jihad here in Florida where, do we have some graphics to put up?
Are you talking of the Tampa?
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
And we'll just flash this back and forth. Okay.
For our viewing audience, we're flashing our Jumpin' Jum'ah Freaky Friday logo back and forth with the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay with their logo and a press release.
That's right.
Now, this is critically important, folks. This is no longer creeping.
No, this is in your face.
This is in your face.
Bam!
This is your
Can you
face.
read it? You have it?
No, I
in front
can't
of
read it over there.
Let's read
You
this
want-
press release. It's so.
The religious observance early dismissal request form. Is that what you want us to read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It says August 21st.
Put it up there. Let's put it up.
2013 is.
Let's have Abdullah.
Oh, yes, yes.
We
Have
need
Abdullah read that.
a Muslim to
Yeah,
read a
Muslim
Muslim press release.
This
Come
is
on,
most
come on,
fantastic.
yes.
This is the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay area, Istaba, the home turf of your not so friendly Ahmed Bedier. And this is for religious observance early dismissal request form. And this is for early dismissal from public schools. The date is
Well, let's
August.
get this straight.
Hold on.
When was this press release put out?
This is dated August 21st, so 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Press release went out, and it's a request form for what now?
For early dismissal from school, public school.
Okay. Let's see.
Public
what-
school,
let's
not
see.
private
Let's see
school.
what this is all about.
Yes.
ahead.
Continuing, to whom it may concern.
Put the picture up. There we go.
To whom it may concern. And this is stating actually section 100653 from the Florida statutes. Religious observance by students. Each board of trustees shall adopt a policy to accommodate the religious observance of students pursuant to section that I just said. And continuing, the following apply. Absence for religious purposes. A parent of a public school student may request and be granted permission for absence of the student from school for religious instruction or religious holidays in accordance with the provisions. School Board Policy 527 established such a policy and states that a student so excused, quote, shall be excused from examination, study, or work assignment at such time for observance of religious holidays, or because the tenets of his or her religion forbid secular activity at such time. And then it says I, and it leaves a space for you to put your name.
You know what we should put in there?
What?
I, Osama bin Laden,
Oh,
respectfully
yeah.
request this from my child. That's just so.
And what is it? What's the actual ask?
Request early dismissal for my child, and then you put the name of your child, of
Mohammed.
the blank grade, whatever the grade, every Friday, very bold and underlined, every Friday,
Every Friday.
Every Friday from 12:30 to 3.
to attend and perform the mandatory Friday khutbah sermon and prayer starting at 12:30 p.m. until 3 p.m. According to Islamic teaching, it is an obligation to observe this prayer, otherwise it is a sin.
All right, so for right in the middle of the school day,
Interesting.
from 12:30 to 3 o'clock. What time do kids get out of school around here? I don't have any
2:30,
children.
3 o'clock.
2:30,
Right around
3
there.
No,
o'clock?
I would think they would get out of school around 3:30.
No, they get out of school like 3:30.
Yeah,
All right, so for 2.5 hours, they're learning
for 3 hours.
For 3 hours a
They're
day.
not there. They're not in school. They're off
They're off-
campus. They're at the mosque.
because they have to now. Not only do they have to go from 12:30 to 3 p.m. because that's the prayer starts at 12:30. All right, so they're requesting that half hour to get to the. Well, doesn't the prayer start at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, I think it's 1 o'clock.
Yeah, so that's
so-
why they leave at 12:30
30.
so they can be there for 1.
At 1 o'clock, and then they come back and.
No, they don't
have-
come back because they're not going to get out of the mosque in
They're not-
time to
yeah,
return
yeah,
to
yeah.
school. So they're done for the
requesting
day at
half a
12:30.
day- So they're requesting a half a day school off
Yeah.
every Friday
Yeah.
for.
It says, and prayers starting at 12:30 p.m.
Well, prayer started at
Well,
1 p.m.
yeah, prayers.
Well, they have to get the prayer.
Yeah.
They have to get there.
You have
yeah.
need time to wash your feet.
That's true.
Well, so they're requesting every Friday off for all Islamic You know what? How many kids are going to turn to Islam to get every Friday off?
God, I'm going to convert, you know? Get a half a day.
Yeah, are
every
they
half
going
a
to
day.
have to? Are they going to have to go to the mosque and have somebody sign
that-
for them to prove that they were there?
There's a lot of issues here.
Can
but-
I
Yeah.
tell you what a big issue is that I thought of right away?
What?
How about all the non-Muslim kids that are watching all these Muslims leaving school? Kids that might be slightly religious to their religion, not religious, and then they see all these kids getting to leave school half a day on Friday. What's that going to do for their dawah?
Well,
Yep.
wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even besides that, they're making demands on the public school system.
Religious
If they
purposes,
want
little Jewish
to
one.
be religiously instructed, they can attend religious schools outside of the public school system. Does nobody get that? Does nobody get that? When I was growing up, I went to Hebrew school. I left school at 1 o'clock every Friday to get ready for Shabbat.
But that's
But
part of your,
I
that's
went
private.
to school at 7 o'clock in the morning and I left at 4 o'clock in the afternoon every other day of the week to make up the time. And I didn't go to public school and expect to be let out at 1 o'clock so I could be home in time to light candles when it was winter time.
Well, the truth of the... Oh, I'm sorry, go back.
Well, I want to say something. Going back to the first section, religious observance by students, section 6A 14.0571 of the Florida State Statute, says each board of trustees shall adopt a policy to accommodate the religious observance of students pursuant to section of the Florida statute. Hey, you know, according to Sharia law, you're not allowed to be taught anything about anything unless it's a Muslim teacher. So why aren't they just requesting all teachers be Muslim in the Florida school
That is a
system?
wonderful idea, Mark.
I mean, that's according to Sharia law. It's according to religious observance and according to their tenets, is it not? And let's just take that, you know, keep going down the path, this slippery slope path here, because this is all it is. And trust me, this is not their final demand that they're going to make of the school system.
Of course
it's
not.
going to keep going on and on and on
No.
until
Yeah, then they come back and say, you know what, just give us 4 holidays off per year, or let's just have halal food in the cafeteria.
We don't want to be
instead.
closed for
Or
Christmas.
let's just have.
Yeah, but CJ, you made their argument. You did what they're saying that they want to do.
Yeah, but I
privately.
did it in a private school. I
Private
didn't
school.
do
Oh,
it
it's a
in a
private school.
public
Oh,
school.
private
Oh, fancy
private
girl.
school.
Oh, it's a little different.
Yes.
Yeah,
a
what's
lot
with
better.
the screen here?
It keeps going off and on here.
What happened?
There. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't have my copy where I have everything marked. I'm looking for the exact quote in here, but this is our book, Sharia, The Threat to America. In the Muslim Brotherhood's plan, in their memorandum, what do they say about American laws in terms of the implementation of Sharia?
I spit on your American
They
laws.
don't exist. I mean,
Well, we will use
They
your
will use the laws
against
against
you.
us.
Yes, for the implementation of Sharia. So they found a code. I don't know, man. This is going to be hard to, if you're the school board in Tampa right now, how are you going to argue against this when the statute says you have an obligation to give, and the statute was written for Christmas or Hanukkah or something, where there are specific Jewish Christian holidays.
The Jewish kids don't get school days off.
Yeah, they get a few.
Public school, and I think in Palm Beach County they do. But the intent was, you know, an occasional day here or there in their calendar. That's fine. This is taking the intent of that law, that statute, and then turning it on its head, but within the context of the understanding of the statute, not the spirit of the statute, the language of the statute, to simply say, we want a half a day every Friday because this is very important to us. How do you, as a board member, go, no, you can't do that?
I don't know. I
Upon
have to
what
look
basis?
at. I have to look at the law, and I have to look at how they implement other statutes also. So I'm not going to say.
Well,
what
I
I
am
would
gonna
think
pers-
they
I
did.
am
I would
gonna
think
pursue
the
it.
attorneys for the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay, before they put this press release out, they did their homework. Why do you think they've been fighting so hard? Does this relate to ALAC in any way? American Laws for American Courts? Not really, unless there was some litigation over this. But it's public school. This is a brilliant
Yeah.
move on the part of
Very
the Islamic
slippery
Coalition in
slope,
Tampa.
Trento.
Yeah.
And do you think Bedier has anything to do with this?
No. Yes.
Most likely his fingerprints are all over this.
Of course.
If they are not, he will become a go-to guy for them to take, if there's a victory with this thing, where they get their half a day every Friday.
Yeah,
if
that's
they
not
get
going to
that,
happen.
He will take that and then bring that all over the United States.
If they don't get it, then they're victims.
They're going to sue.
Then
We are
they're
always
victims.
victims. We are
Yeah,
the
they'll call the
minority here.
SPLC for representation is what they'll do.
They will.
And then we'll call the ACLU to keep religion out of schools.
See, here's why it's very easy for us. Here's why it's very easy for us, folks. This is
Upside down world.
No, you're not kidding. The reason why this is easy for us is because most Americans don't want to do this crazy stuff that we're doing. And
Because I tell you, there isn't a single story that we ever cover or a topic that we ever cover that doesn't make me sick to my stomach.
I know.
And then we do a whole show of them. And then we do it 5 days a week, plus we do specials. And my friends say to me, and of
Why do you
course,
do that?
whenever they see me, they all want to like leap. And they all want to talk about politics and they want to talk about the show and what's happening and what are we doing. And then they look at me and say, how can you live and breathe this all the time and still be a nice person
do-
and
how
not
do we
lose
do
your
that? Yeah.
sanity, you know?
Part of the way we can do that is
We make jihad fun for
Yeah,
one
well, that's
thing.
one
I mean,
thing.
we joke around.
but we know the rest of the story.
Yeah.
For you take any Jewish kid, any Christian kid, any public school that gets any time anywhere off for consideration for a holiday of some sort, and ask those kids, does your faith, Judaism or Christianity, teach in any way, shape, or form the subjugation of the rest of the world as part of your religious training and religious doctrine, including the United States, which includes the city of Tampa? Does your faith, little Mr. Christian boy, or your faith, little Miss Jewish girl, teach that? And they're going to go, huh? You ask a Muslim student, is it the objective of Islam to control and dominate the world? Is that a necessary doctrinal component of the religion Islam? And they go, of course it is.
Well, either that or they say they don't know, therefore they need to attend mosque services on Friday to get
They've gotta figure
properly
it out.
educated in the supremacism of their fake religion, because it's not a religion, folks.
Now put communism in there. Suppose
Yeah.
the communists, there's communists in school, and
Where
I'm sure
people
there are
don't
a
even
couple
like to say
communists.
communist anymore. So how about we call them Bolsheviks? Let's say
Oh,
Bolshevism.
Bolsheviks.
You can say that on
There's
the
a
air.
good
I
word.
thought you said something
I
else
did
there.
too.
for a
Yeah,
second.
I know.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
was
you make
close.
curse words.
No,
Yeah, it
no,
was so
Ken,
close.
or whoever's on the board at NN, it wasn't a curse
was
word, don't dump it.
Bolshevism.
Bolshevism.
Yeah.
But we'll use communist so we don't get in trouble there. But if there's communists in the school, and
Of course there
who-
are. They're the teachers. They're
or Satanists, Satanism is a religion. Suppose the Satanists say, "Hey, Wednesday's our day. We want Wednesday off all day long because it's part of our religion."
right.
How do you handle that?
Right.
And unless you get diving into the doctrine at some point and understanding the motivation behind this, then the school is gonna be at wit's end to
Takes it
figure out
at
how to
its
stop
face.
To
which
not
is the
allow these
problem.
children off would be a violation of the First Amendment, freedom of religion.
I'm sure that's
How
gonna
about
be.
freedom from religion?
I'm sure that's going to be the argument, but guess what? The federal courts have held many times that you don't have freedom of religion in a public elementary school.
Yes, but
You
the
don't have
Quran-
absolute
and
freedom of religion.
actually, you're as a minor, you're not actually covered anyway. You don't have freedom of the press as a teenager.
Yeah, I would, yeah, of course not.
Like for your school paper or something like that, you don't have freedom of the press.
Do you have freedom of press if you want to make giant jihad sign on I-95?
Stay tuned, folks, for this developing story in Tampa Bay. Is there anybody, I'd like to talk to somebody that is behind the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay. Do we have anybody we can contact live on the air and find out what they're trying to do here?
We can make call.
Let's make a call. How about that? You want to make a call?
Yeah,
Let's make a call. We're going to call, who are we going to call?
We could call Islamic Center of, Islamic Society of Tampa Bay area. I have the main number is right here.
I don't know if you should call Abdullah.
Yeah.
Let Abdullah call, sure. Do you mind calling and seeing what's going on, or should Damon, the producer, call?
What do you prefer?
Let's have you call, if you don't mind, if it's not going to, upset you in your little religious world and all that.
No, not that.
Let's call the Islamic Center of Tampa Bay right here on the air, TrentoVision, 41 minutes after 5 o'clock. Let's try to get somebody on and ask what they intend on, what their belief is, what's going on, okay?
Okay, you
All right, here we do. Dialing it up. Let them know they're on the air live. We got to let them know that because they got to know they're on the air. All right. What do you think's going to happen?
I don't know.
Am I calling or is your little producer calling?
No, let's have Abdullah call them.
Very good.
Tell him it's Imam Abdullah from the Tom Trento Show, and we're on the air, and Tom has a couple of questions regarding the press release of 2 days ago.
Can you make the tape deck?
Yeah, what do you need?
All right, well, the tension and excitement is mounting as we're dialing the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay, Florida, trying to get from the jihadi's mouth exactly what this is all about at 42 minutes after 5 o'clock. Tom Trento, WNN 1470. What other
Yeah, we
little
didn't do any housekeeping today. So
Friday.
we started the show with
here
my
we go.
Sharia.
My
Connecting.
Yeah,
Oh, we're connecting. I don't hear anything.
connecting.
My
You
ear.
have that tape turned up, the tape?
Yeah, it's
You know they.
Oh, here we
Yes.
go. We got
Hello? Hello, is this the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay? Oh, yes, hello. This is Imam Abdullah, full calling from the Tom Trento Show. And I am calling in regards to your new request to allow children to be early dismissal on the Fridays to attend the Jumu'ah prayers.
The kids, they can come anytime, no problem.
No, I am asking.
No, let me talk to him. See if he'll talk to me
Yes,
on the air.
can you talk to my friend Tom here? His English is much better than mine.
Okay.
Hi,
Okay,
sir.
thank
this,
you.
this is Tom Trento. We're on the air on a radio show right now. And we got a press release that the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay is petitioning to have Muslim students be let out of school on Fridays for Jumu'ah prayers. Is that accurate?
Yes, for Jum'ah Prayer for Friday, Jum'ah Prayer every Friday from 12:30 or 12 o'clock until 3 o'clock.
Could you make that a little louder? It's hard to hear.
We're finishing right now.
And what's behind that? We're trying to understand how that could be done legally. Have students leave half a day basically every week.
Well, this is a religious obligation for students, to attend this prayer, and if they intentionally miss this prayer and they do not perform, it's committed as a sin. That's the most holy prayer, for the whole week, for the holy day, Friday. Okay. So we just humbly, we ask the school, to put this in consideration for the student so they can come and attend this prayer, from 12:30 until 3 o'clock.
Okay, now this applies to the boys and the girls too, or just boys?
Yeah, it's for boys and girls. It's equal for everybody. Them, everybody, men and women, they are commanded, and requested, to observe the prayer at all times, and especially this prayer.
Okay, and up to this point, they haven't been let out. So, do they get like a lot of sin building up or something, or how do they deal with that?
I'm sorry?
Up to this point, you haven't been given approval yet to let them out of school, right?
Yes, we gave them a letter of excuse that we request the school if they can consider that. And we gave it to them. They just asked them, to put the student's name or the parent's name and the student's name, the grade, and they just sign it and submit it to the school for that.
But, I mean, up to the press release, they haven't been allowed out of school, have they? Like last
haven't-
week or in the
Last
past?
year. Last
every
year.
every year, we never had issue with them. And like schools, they've been very helpful. They've been considering this and accepting it. And they don't, basically they've been cooperating with us about that. They help us a lot with that.
Oh, so this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah. Yes.
So what's the sense of the press release then? Why did our radio station get a press release if this is something that's been going on?
If it's what?
We got a press release, our radio show that we're on now, we got a press release from the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay dated the 21st of August asking for this permission. Has this been going on? Why did you put a press release out on August 21st, 2013?
Because we do it every year. Whenever the school starts, we have to renew that letter. Because if I type that letter, which I already did 3-4 years ago, and I just take it to the school and say, please submit it now, somebody from the school is going to say, hey, this letter is 2-3 years old. Are you sure it's still effective? But if it's a little bit more recent, like a couple of days, a couple of months, or at least a year, the same year, where the school is around 2013 or 2014, that they can take in consideration. But I won't give them a letter, that I typed 2005, 2006, which is saying the same thing, but we just have to renew change the date, to make sure it's still up to date.
All right, now this is all of Tampa Bay, or how far does the
As far as any school in the state of Florida, we request and we hope that they all help us with that, and because this all, we don't benefit anything from this except making sure that these students, they feel that they are up to their religious obligation, and they don't feel like at any time school is being or school time is being depriving their chance of doing this religious and spiritual prayer every week.
Okay, this would be part of the Sharia law, right?
No, this is not a Sharia law, because there is no Sharia law about just to observe the prayer. Everybody prays. This is just a matter of prayer. We're not saying here anything else more than just attending the prayer, coming to listen to a lecture about renewing your, the Imam or the speaker, will be preaching to the student and to the people and to everybody, man, woman, old, young, kids, everybody, to stay all close to God. Always command what is good and forbid, what is forbidding, and stay away from whatever is forbidding to do. That's all. That's the main message, of people attending the Friday prayer. It's just a reminder, that for everybody, that
Yeah.
you need to grow your spiritual life. Same way you need to feed your body with food and drink. It's also you need to keep renewing that spiritual food that you wanted to, that you need for your life, for your daily or for your every moment of your life.
And how many kids are actually getting out of school on Fridays for Jumu'ah?
I don't have any account for that, because whoever asks for this, they just take it, we make some copies and we leave it. Whoever wants to take it, they take it.
And suppose the school says, no, sorry, we're not doing that. What happens?
Then from this point, I cannot take it to any further. Me personally, if they want it, the parent, if they have anything, they can take it, they want to complain about it or take it to any other authority, they can present or submit their request. They can do that. But from our side, just we have just the, all we do is we just present the explanation. We say this is a religious request or this is a religious command, for these people, to attend this prayer. We, as Islamic Society of Tampa Bay area, as the one who can elaborate more in the religious part, we say that this prayer is, we enforce, so nobody just come out of nowhere and say that this prayer is not mandatory. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be edited by or approved by the person in charge.
Okay, but the school has the right ultimately. They may or may not grant it. There's a couple of others in here that have a question. You got a question, Mark?
Yes. So, as I'm reading this this religious dismissal request form, it says at the bottom that they're excused from testing and from any other functions due to the school. Is that correct? At the bottom of the. Are you there?
I think it's hard. I don't know if your mic is on.
No, I think he hung up.
When
He
he
hung up.
realized that we were a radio show.
Well,
Finally,
we told
after
him we were a
told him 3
radio
times.
show.
I think he just hung up.
Hello?
He just hung up.
Hello, anybody there?
He just hung up. I heard a click go down.
Oh,
oh,
okay.
Yeah, he didn't like the where the questioning was going.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this.
the what CJ just wrote is and where we're going to kind of move into gently. Seemed like a nice fellow and
Very nice man.
very nice man. And this is how this stuff is presented. It's never presented in a jihad fashion. It's presented, but the question
Except
about
for they're guilty of sin if they don't attend the services, but it's not by Sharia law, it's just a religious command.
yeah, what's the
the difference?
What's the difference, right?
Yeah, that
Between
would
a
have.
Oh, he was
religious
so
command
quick to
and
say, "Oh, this is
Sharia.
not Sharia."
This is not Sharia. Yeah, that
Yeah.
that would have
It's
caused him
completely
to.
Sharia. You want to pull out of the Sharia book where it says that is Sharia to do?
Absolutely the Sharia, and keep talking, and I'll find it.
All right. But no, this is absolutely Sharia law. This is completely Sharia law where he's demanding from the state to observe a religious holiday every week of the year, regardless, according to his religious request form, and that they can be excused from testing, they can be excused from all this stuff, to demand the state to make accommodations to Islam. This is what this whole thing's all about.
Yeah, and it's been going on, which is very interesting. I thought it was just starting. It's been going
He
on.
says this is just a renewal form.
Yeah, so
you know the
he's,
school
he
board's
said he
just been
first
like,
did it like 4 years ago.
yeah, you know
So-
the school board is just like saying, you know, it's just there's 3 or 4 kids leaving.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
just
yeah.
hope this doesn't go anywhere.
I highly doubt that it's 3 or 4 kids only.
Right.
Friday prayer, Jum'ah bath, conditions for.
Well, I think we need to find out from the school board.
Right.
Uh,
How long
We
yeah,
has
need
this
to
been going on?
contact the school board.
How long has this been going on?
18.
Yeah. And also, maybe we should contact like the principals of the high schools in the area and say that we're moving from out of state or something like that, and we're considering enrolling our children in your school, but we have a concern about leaving for Jumu'ah prayers on Friday. What's your school policy about that?
Well, what's the Sharia policy?
Right.
All right, this is the Sharia law book we talk about all the time at 53
Yeah.
minutes past 5
And it doesn't
o'clock.
apply to like kids under 13 or something, right?
Well, attending the Friday prayer is personally obligatory. It is the finest of prayers, and its day Friday is the best day of the week because Jews go on Saturday and Christians go on Sunday. My editorial comment. And the conditions are the same as other prayers. Anyone obliged to pray the noon prayer is obliged to pray the Friday prayer Jumu'ah, except for women and travel. Women do not have to do this.
No, they don't.
Why are they letting the women out?
No, that's what I've been telling you, because I guess it depends on where you go, which mosque you go to, because some mosques won't allow women in altogether. Some
Right.
mosques will allow women, but of course they are segregated from the men. And but they all agree that even though the women are let in, it's not necessary for them to attend.
Yeah, well, we're going to go through this in detail, but it says women aren't necessary to be there. So according to the Sharia,
Somebody has to be home cooking the food for them to eat when they get out of services.
according to the Sharia,
Same
this
thing like
doesn't apply
Jewish
to women.
Orthodox.
Well, it also
So-
doesn't apply to women who are menstruating or either.
Well, it's
because-
got
Well,
a
that's
zillion
different
words,
because
yeah.
then they're not allowed
They're not
really
allowed
to
in the
be,
mosque.
yeah, they're not allowed to be in the mosque and they're not allowed to touch anything and they have to do certain
Right.
things to touch the food and all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
There's about 10 pages of rules guarding the Sharia, the Sharia guidance for Jumu'ah prayer, and right off the bat, their request to allow the girls to go
Yeah.
is not necessary in Islam. It's only necessary. That's an important point. Why
It's
are
not
you-
a sin for the girls not to go
Not
to
to go.
Jumu'ah prayer, so why would you be letting them out of school?
It's not a
Because
sin.
sometimes you
according
have
to
a
your-
brother and a sister. It makes very difficult on the parent to pick up the girl from the school. I know this because my friends go there. It makes very difficult to pick up the girl at the school and the boy at the Islamic center. So it is really to make convenient for the parents.
But look, these are the little doctrinal theological battles that need to take place when in fact Jumu'ah prayer, according to the rule book, does not apply to women, and they're saying, oh, girls can go out of school too. Now, is there, who would bring the case to the school board and say, that's not their belief system? Why are the women being let out? They're getting a half a day off for nothing. I want a half a day off for nothing.
Right.
If you want to be equitable and give consideration, which is absurd in the first place because of where the doctrine leads us, as we know, then why extend it to people that it isn't extended to in their own religion?
Yeah. And what about the boys who are just curious about Islam and want to explore their faith and potentially converting, and therefore they need to attend services at
Yeah.
the mosque? Should people who are just curious and interested in Islam
bring
be
your
allowed
friend.
to
That's
go
what I
to
said
school?
earlier. That's what I said earlier. What are all the kids that are seeing all the Muslims
Yeah.
leaving on a half a day? They're going to say, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah.
So what's that going to do to conversion rates going forward?
Or just cutting class for a half a day, hey, Mohammed, we want to come with you, okay? It's okay, come on to the mosque. Yeah, okay, you go that way, I'll go this way.
Yeah.
And how do we know they're even going to the mosque?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And the mosque that they're going to, that's another.
That's a whole nother story. We will tell you about the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay,
And
cultural jihad, terrorist supporting organization. So we hope if anybody out there listening to the radio on WNN 1470 or watching the show TrentoVision.tv
Or on the archives.
on the
at
archives,
YouTube.com/The United West.
Yep.
get this show, get this information to people in Tampa Bay to start asking some questions.
Yeah, but
as to
he
what the
said
heck
this is
going
for
on.
the whole state. He said,
Yep.
yeah, he said it was for the whole state of Florida, so it's not just in Tampa.
Yeah, they're I
They're
haven't
setting something up here. If they haven't been implementing this thing beforehand and only have a couple people leaving, they're setting something up for
Something's
mass
They're
exodus.
ramping up, yeah.
They're ramping up for something on this thing.
Yeah.
Something doesn't smell right. Well,
I think
have
we
one-
should,
Third time
we
to
should
strike
send a
with
copy
Obama.
of
I
that
have
to the
a-
governor, maybe.
I have a quick question. Let's say I'm my Unitarian faith, and I
Right.
get a bunch of people who are Unitarians together
Mm-hmm.
and say, you know what, we only believe in going to school on Monday and Tuesday, and we should have 5 days off. What's to stop that slippery slope slide from getting even worse, where you have to do a religious observance for football games or something like that?
Because it's not institutionalized. It's not been proven over time.
What, the Unitarian belief system?
Yes, it has been.
You have some breaking news. We have like 30
It
seconds.
is not breaking. We're waiting. We're
Another
waiting.
Florida thing.
It's
It's another
waiting
Florida
from
case.
Miami.
Sorry to cut you off, but I just saw this breaking
Real quick.
news. Yeah.
Did it happen yet?
I'm still waiting.
All right,
Still
put it
waiting.
up.
Okay.
Put 'em up. Still in wacky Florida. On Jumpin' Jum'ah Freaky Friday, Freaky Florida Friday. Sentencing for Florida Imam in Taliban support case.
The Taliban in Pakistan.
This is the Pakistani Taliban. There was an imam and his son who were funneling money to the Pakistani
Oh, his son
Taliban.
didn't get convicted.
No, he got arrested, all that, but then he was
Yeah.
cut loose. The father is
Yeah.
he's been convicted, and what is or is the trial going on right
No,
now?
he's
No,
been
no, we're waiting
convicted,
for the
yeah.
sentencing. Today
He's
Oh.
going to
the
get
sentencing.
15
Sentencing,
to, yeah,
he's convicted,
15 to 60, but of course the media is very biased in his favor because he's
old
always
man,
referred to as the elderly cleric. Like, oh,
The
poor
elderly
him.
cleric.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, sooner or later, people are going to have to start looking at what Islam is all about. It's got a veneer of religiosity.
But it
It's got a
isn't.
doctrine of jihad.
It's
and jihad
jihad.
to destroy the United States, whether with bombs or whether culturally. And if that's what you want to happen in the United States, don't watch us, don't listen to us. If you want to save America, save Israel, save the West, tune in here and donate securely, okay?
Thank you.
We'll see you over the weekend, Monday. Have a very safe and blessed weekend.
Allah Akbar.